And then here we are, the very next game, and dirtbag DiJonai back to poking players in the eyes, back to slapping players in the face, getting fans ejected. Oh.
Watch that left hand, not the right hand going for the ball. The left hand, that's a deliberate poke to the eye while her right hand swipes in the opposite direction. This isn't clumsiness. This is an aggressive defense. This is a pattern that's been building all season, and the league's refusal to address it is creating a dangerous precedent that could end someone's career. DiJonai Carrington just completed her second game back from suspension, and it took exactly one game for the eye-poking incidents to resume. Two separate players, two separate eye pokes, same night, and somehow the WNBA continues to treat this as incidental contact rather than what the evidence clearly shows, a player who repeatedly targets opponents' faces with alarming consistency.
Any word from you?
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. My bad. Just wanted to make sure that I understood properly how you felt about it. No, sorry about that. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. Now here we have her completely so far away from the basketball, just slapping Tiffany Hayes in the face. Let me just reach and see if I could grab some face real quick. Just smacking Tiffany Hayes in the face.
That's Connecticut Sun head coach Stephanie White, and that response has become her signature deflection whenever Carrington's dirty play gets questioned. She's gonna play her butt off. She's gonna compete. Nobody's gonna go walking in for a layup. It's the same rehearsed line she delivers every single time, regardless of what actually happened on the court. But here's what makes this particularly problematic. Stephanie White isn't just defending physical basketball. She's providing institutional cover for a player whose actions go far beyond hard fouls or aggressive defense. When your coach refuses to acknowledge the difference between competing hard and repeatedly striking opponents in the face, you're sending a clear message to that player. Keep doing what you're doing because I'll protect you every time. The incident against the Las Vegas Aces perfectly illustrates this pattern. Carrington's hand is nowhere near the basketball. She's reaching directly for the face of her opponent, making contact with the eye area while the ball is in a completely different location. This isn't a basketball play gone wrong. This is a non-basketball play that happens to occur during a basketball game.
We have DiJonai Carrington. A fan made a face to her, and DiJonai Carrington crashes out and gets this fan ejected. This fan now gets removed from his seat. What rumor has it, this fan said to her, "You got fake hair," and sent his ass out. Fan leaned in and said, "Your eyelashes are fake." She couldn't handle it. Tossed her ass out. She was walking by. "Hey, those are fake nails." She panicked.
And this is where the pattern becomes undeniable. A fan makes a face at Carrington during the game, and she immediately crashes out, getting security to eject that paying customer from their seat. According to reports from fans at the game, the interaction was minimal. One witness claims the fan said something about fake eyelashes. Another says it was about her hair. Regardless of what was actually said, Carrington's response was to have that person physically removed from the arena. Think about the optics here for a moment. The WNBA has spent the entire 2024 season celebrating unprecedented growth in attendance and fan engagement. Caitlin Clark's rookie season brought millions of new viewers and thousands of new ticket buyers to arenas across the league. The business side of the WNBA is experiencing its best year in history, with expansion plans, increased sponsorships, and legitimate mainstream media coverage for the first time. And in the middle of this growth, you've got a player getting fans ejected for what amounts to minor heckling. Not threats, not slurs, not anything that would violate the league's fan conduct policy, just standard sports heckling that happens at every professional sporting event in America. But Carrington couldn't handle it, and the Connecticut Sun security staff complied with her request to remove that fan.
Anything wrong with what DiJonai Carrington did last night?
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And
Yeah, fair, very fair point. I agree. No one's just going to go walking in for a layup. She just loves going for the eye. She just loves going for the eyes. Shout out to Venom. I said it before, I'll say it again. DiJonai Carrington won't stop until she ends someone's career. I can't tell if it's her recent breakup or what, but she's a ticking time bomb ready to detonate at any second and brings a harmful product to the WNBA. She's also on a ton of pills, I'm sure.
Let's be clear about something. Professional athletes deal with heckling. It's part of the job. NBA players hear significantly worse on a nightly basis and manage to maintain their composure. NFL players get screamed at by drunk fans in freezing weather. MLB players endure hours of creative insults from bleacher seats. This is professional sports. If you can't handle a fan commenting on your appearance without having them ejected, you might not be cut out for professional athletics. But the fan ejection isn't the main issue. It's a symptom of a larger problem. DiJonai Carrington operates with a sense of impunity that stems directly from her coach's unwavering support and the league's failure to impose meaningful consequences. She knows she can poke players in the eye, and Stephanie White will defend it as competing hard. She knows she can get fans thrown out and face no pushback from the organization. She knows the WNBA will issue a meaningless statement about incidental contact and move on to the next game. This creates a dangerous environment for everyone else on the court. When one player learns they can repeatedly commit dangerous plays without real punishment, other players are put at risk every time that player steps on the floor. And we're not talking about hard screens or aggressive rebounding. We're talking about strikes to the face and eyes, the kind of contact that can cause serious career-altering injuries.
Here's Mick. I don't even know how you do this intentionally. The ball is behind her, and she went for the ball with her right hand while clawing her in the face with her left hand. Yeah. White girls are only 15% of the WNBA, but seem disproportionately targeted by DiJonai, the condiment made by mixing mayonnaise and Dijon mustard. Fair enough. Another dirty play by DiJonai. I wonder, is this white privilege as well? Does this qualify as white privilege? Ooh. This is more like DiJonai fatigue.
The comments from fans and analysts on social media reveal a growing frustration with the league's handling of this situation. One fan pointed out that the ball is behind Carrington in the clip, yet she's reaching forward with her left hand directly into her opponent's face while her right hand goes for the ball. That's not a basketball play. That's two separate actions happening simultaneously, one of which has nothing to do with playing basketball. Another comment notes the statistical reality. White players represent only 15% of WNBA rosters, yet they seem disproportionately targeted by Carrington's physical play. Now, we need to be careful about making this a racial issue when it might simply be a pattern of aggressive play against whoever happens to be guarding her or being guarded by her. But the observation itself is worth noting because perception matters in professional sports, and when fans start noticing patterns, those patterns become part of the narrative, whether the league likes it or not. The Sophie Cunningham incident earlier this season remains the most egregious example. Carrington's closeout on Cunningham went viral because it was so blatantly dangerous. She wasn't making a play on the ball, she was running directly at a shooter who was in midair, making contact in a way that could have caused serious injury. The league issued a suspension, but it was brief, and Carrington returned to the same style of play immediately.
What do you have to say for yourself?
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And
damn, will you ever just stick up for the white woman, Stephanie? God, you know what? Here, you got one more chance. Stick up for that white lady.
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup.
Damn, you just refuse to stick up for them, don't you? No, don't you? You just refuse to stick up. And then we got the claw in the face that we all saw. Out of the league.
And here's where Stephanie White's role becomes particularly troubling. After the Sophie Cunningham incident, White didn't just defend Carrington in a standard supporting my player way. She went on an aggressive media campaign, giving a pre-game speech that went viral, positioning Carrington as the victim of unfair criticism rather than the aggressor who committed a dangerous play. White successfully shifted the narrative from player commits dangerous foul to player unfairly targeted by critics. This is masterful media manipulation, but it's also deeply problematic for player safety. By immediately defending Carrington and redirecting attention to alleged unfair treatment, White removed any incentive for Carrington to modify her behavior. Why would Carrington change her approach when her coach publicly celebrates her competitiveness regardless of how many faces she hits? The pattern is now clear and predictable. Carrington commits a dangerous play. Video evidence circulates on social media. Fans and analysts point out the obvious problem. Stephanie White gives her rehearsed, "she's gonna compete" response. The league issues a weak statement or a brief suspension. Carrington returns and does it again. Repeat cycle.
Is enough. You know what? Let's go to one of the most respected voices in the WNBA space. Stephanie, surely you have an issue with this, right? Surely you do.
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup, and so
you're just going to cover for DiJonai at every time, at every turn you have. Now listen to this, folks. You ready? Because I was thinking about this the other day. Thinking about this last night actually, and I said to myself, wait a second. DiJonai Carrington under fire from clotheslining Sophie Cunningham. And then guess who comes in and takes the spotlight off of DiJonai Carrington with her crash out meltdown speech right before the game? Stephanie White. Stephanie White's speech before Tuesday's game took the shine, took the spotlight off of DiJonai Carrington being a dirty player.
One social media comment captured this perfectly. DiJonai Carrington won't stop until she ends someone's career. She's a ticking time bomb ready to detonate at any second. That might sound hyperbolic, but is it really? How many eye pokes does it take before someone suffers permanent vision damage? How many closeouts on shooters before someone lands wrong and tears an ACL? How many slaps to the face before someone takes a finger to the eye at the wrong angle? The WNBA has a duty to protect all players on the court, and right now they're failing that duty by treating Carrington's repeated dangerous plays as isolated incidents rather than a clear pattern of behavior. In the NBA, players who develop reputations for dangerous play face escalating suspensions and fines. Flagrant fouls accumulate. The league tracks these incidents and responds accordingly, but in the WNBA, Carrington continues to operate with minimal consequences. And let's address the elephant in the room, the timing of all this. The WNBA just completed its most successful season in history. Television ratings hit record highs, attendance surged across the league, merchandise sales exploded, major sponsors increased their investments. This was supposed to be the breakthrough year that established the WNBA as a permanent fixture in American sports culture. But instead of celebrating that success and building on it, the league is dealing with controversy after controversy, many of which involve the same players and teams. The dark side comment about fans, the physical play that crosses the line into dangerous territory, the fan ejections, the social media battles between players and media members. All of this creates a narrative that undermines the positive momentum the league worked so hard to build. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has talked repeatedly about growing the league, expanding to new markets, increasing the salary cap, and establishing the WNBA as a major professional sports league. But none of that matters if the on-court product is marred by dangerous play that the league refuses to address seriously. Fans won't keep showing up if they think the games are poorly officiated, or that certain players get away with behavior that would get others suspended.
I defend DiJonai. Stephanie White immediately defending DiJonai Carrington, shifting the spotlight from DiJonai Carrington being a dirty player onto Stephanie White. Stephanie White just can't help herself but to cover and protect DiJonai Carrington. It's like a weird twitch that she has. And we know Stephanie has a lot of twitches. Fine. Fine, Stephanie. What do you have to say about DiJonai's plays from last night?
one of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup.
Oh my God, I can't hear this anymore. And then we have these guys throwing out a fan. You can't make this stuff up.
The frustration in that comment is palpable, and it represents a growing sentiment among WNBA fans who love the sport but are tired of watching the same problematic behavior go unpunished. These aren't casual viewers who don't understand basketball. These are dedicated fans who watch every game, understand the difference between hard fouls and dirty plays, and can see the obvious pattern that the league seems determined to ignore. Compare the WNBA's handling of Carrington to how the NBA dealt with Draymond Green's pattern of dangerous plays. Green developed a reputation for kicking opponents, hitting them in sensitive areas, and committing flagrant fouls. The league responded with escalating suspensions, public statements about unacceptable behavior, and clear consequences that eventually modified Green's approach to physical play. He's still an aggressive defender, but he learned where the line is because the league enforced that line consistently. The WNBA needs to take the same approach with Carrington. Not because she's a bad person or doesn't deserve to play professional basketball, but because player safety has to be the priority. Every time she steps on the court, opponents have to worry about getting poked in the eye or slapped in the face. That's not basketball. That's a safety hazard that the league has a responsibility to address. So where does this leave us? The WNBA has a decision to make, and they need to make it soon. Either they take player safety seriously and impose real consequences for repeated dangerous plays, or they accept that certain players will continue to operate with impunity as long as their coaches provide cover and the league looks the other way. The evidence is overwhelming at this point. Multiple eye pokes, multiple face slaps, multiple incidents across multiple games against multiple opponents. This isn't bad luck or coincidence. This is a pattern of behavior that any reasonable observer can identify. The question is whether the league office has the courage to address it. Stephanie White's role in this situation cannot be overlooked. As a head coach, she has tremendous influence over her players' behavior and approach to the game. When she consistently defends Carrington's dangerous plays as simple competitiveness, she's telling Carrington that this behavior is acceptable and even encouraged. A different coach might pull Carrington aside and say, "Look, I love your intensity, but you need to keep your hands away from opponents' faces. You're hurting the team with these suspensions, and you're putting other players at risk." But White has shown no indication that she's willing to have that conversation. This creates a toxic dynamic where Carrington feels emboldened to continue her physical approach, knowing her coach will defend her publicly no matter what happens. And the Connecticut Sun organization as a whole bears responsibility for allowing this dynamic to continue. General Manager Darius Taylor and Team President Jen Rosati have remained largely silent on these incidents, apparently content to let White handle the media response with her rehearsed deflections. The fan ejection incident adds another layer to this story because it reveals Carrington's mentality off the court as well as on it. Professional athletes are supposed to have thick skin. They're supposed to be able to handle criticism and heckling without melting down. The fact that Carrington couldn't tolerate a fan making a comment about her appearance suggests a fragility that contradicts the tough competitive image White tries to project. And think about what message this sends to other fans. If you buy a ticket to a Connecticut Sun game and you heckle DiJonai Carrington in a way she doesn't like, you might get ejected from the arena despite doing nothing that violates the fan conduct policy. That's not a good look for a league trying to grow its fan base and create a welcoming environment for new supporters. Fans should feel free to engage in normal sports heckling without fear of ejection because a player can't handle mild criticism. The broader context here matters too. The WNBA spent years struggling for attention, fighting for media coverage, and trying to convince casual sports fans to give the league a chance. Then Caitlin Clark arrives, brings millions of new viewers, and suddenly the WNBA has the attention it always wanted. But with that attention comes scrutiny, and not all of that scrutiny is positive. When new fans tune in and see players repeatedly poking opponents in the eye with no meaningful consequences, that shapes their perception of the league. When they see coaches deflecting legitimate criticism with rehearsed non-answers, that shapes their perception of the league's credibility. When they see fans getting ejected for minor heckling, that shapes their perception of the league's priorities. The WNBA can't afford to squander this moment of unprecedented growth by allowing preventable controversies to dominate the conversation. Every news cycle spent discussing Carrington's latest eye poke is a news cycle not spent celebrating the league's amazing athletes, incredible games, and inspiring stories. Every social media debate about whether her plays are dirty or just competitive is a debate that distracts from the positive narrative the league worked so hard to build. Commissioner Engelbert needs to step in and make it clear that this pattern of behavior will no longer be tolerated. Not with vague statements about player safety being a priority, but with concrete actions and escalating consequences. The next time Carrington pokes someone in the eye, it should be a 5-game suspension. The time after that, 10 games. Eventually, the message will get through that this behavior is unacceptable in a professional basketball league. Some will argue this is too harsh, that Carrington is being singled out unfairly, that other players commit hard fouls without facing this level of scrutiny. But those arguments ignore the documented pattern of repeated incidents targeting the same areas of opponents' bodies. This isn't about one hard foul or one aggressive closeout. This is about a player who has demonstrated over multiple games and multiple seasons that she will continue to target opponents' faces unless the league forces her to stop. The health and safety of WNBA players should be non-negotiable. These are professional athletes whose careers can be ended by a single injury. A poke to the eye at the wrong angle can cause permanent vision damage. A hard closeout on a shooter can result in a torn ACL that takes a year to recover from. These aren't abstract concerns. These are real risks that Carrington's style of play creates for everyone who shares the court with her. And ultimately, this comes down to a simple question. Does the WNBA care more about protecting one controversial player, or does it care more about ensuring a safe environment for all 36 players on every roster? The answer should be obvious, but the league's actions so far suggest they're still trying to have it both ways, issuing weak statements while hoping the controversy dies down on its own. It won't die down. Not as long as Carrington keeps poking players in the eye and Stephanie White keeps defending it with the same tired line about competing hard. Not as long as fans keep getting ejected for mild heckling while dangerous plays go unpunished. Not as long as the gap between the league's stated commitment to player safety and its actual enforcement of that commitment remains this wide. So here's what needs to happen. The WNBA needs to announce a comprehensive review of Carrington's history of physical play. They need to establish clear guidelines for what constitutes a flagrant foul versus incidental contact. They need to implement escalating suspensions for players who repeatedly commit dangerous plays. And they need to make it